Hello, I'll try this again. I was interrupted, so I have to start over. Thank you for visiting my reading room. I'm Nancy, reader and tutor and small business owner of West Coast Polar Ice, Italian Ice, and Frozen Specialties. You can find me down at the beach and Oceanside during warm summer months and on the weekends. Anyway, today we're going to be continuing from Wordly Wise, Book 10 by Kenneth Hodkinson and Sandra Adams. I am reading individual words with their definitions and also following up with a reading passage that incorporates all the words and shows us how they are used. And this is for everybody. It's I know that I'm not alone when I say that we could all, use a little bit of improvement. And we're sort of in a time where we're bombarded with technology, which is all good. It's great, video games and all that. But it's kind of a nice thing also to make time to improve our ability to critically think, which is what I think our country needs more now than ever. And my mission, this is a total labor of love for me. My mission is to create a love for reading cover to cover, one book at a time. And so we are going to start with our first word, aura. And if you like my content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate that. I upload whenever I get a chance, whenever I have an extra moment. And so it's a total joy for me to do, a privilege and an honor, really, to serve my community in this way, in this small, little minute way. Okay, so we begin. The first word, aura, a noun, a distinctive atmosphere or feeling that seems to surround someone or something, a distinctive appearance or impression. There was an aura of serenity about the woman sitting quietly in the corner. Number 2, banal, an adjective, lacking freshness, trite. The plot of that movie was so banal, I predicted the ending within the first half hour. Number 3, bemuse, a verb, to confuse or bewilder. The noise and hubbub of Times Square bemused the tourists who had come from a rural area for their first trip to New York City. Number 4, cognizant, an adjective, fully aware, taking notice. Janine was so mesmerized by the clown at the fair that she was not cognizant of her surroundings. And cognizance as a noun, he did not take cognizance of the fact that Grossman's had closed, even though he passed by the store every day. Number 5, conundrum, a noun, a riddle whose answer is a play on words. Answer this conundrum. What's the difference between an engineer and a professor? One mines trains and the other trains minds. Number 2, a puzzle or problem that is difficult or impossible to solve. How Giovanna would be able to live in Turkey for 3 months without knowing a word of the language was a conundrum we would not solve. Next word, evanescent, an adjective, short-lived, staying temporarily. Evening showers are an evanescent phenomenon in the tropics. The next word, factotum, a noun, a helper or assistant with a wide range of duties and responsibilities. The studio head made the decisions and his factotum handled the details. Grandiose, an adjective, impressive because of size or scope. Gothic cathedrals are grandiose structures that continue to attract tourists. Characterized by the pretense of grandeur or absurd exaggeration, he made the grandiose claim that he was the only person in the world who could do the job. Next word, induce, a verb, to influence or persuade. We finally induced my grandmother to use the air conditioner we put in her bedroom. To bring about, to cause. That medication induces drowsiness, so it's unwise to drive after taking it. Intransigent, an adjective, refusing to compromise or change one's position on an issue. The new committee's intransigent attitude made it impossible to work out any sort of compromise with the veteran employees. Intransigence as a noun. Because of her intransigence, her friends gave up trying to persuade her to apply to more than one college. Laudatory, adjective, full of praise. A laudatory review in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch guaranteed a successful run for the new play. Panache, a noun, dash or flamboyance in style or action. The chef chopped and diced the vegetables with awe-inspiring panache. Picayune, an adjective, petty or insignificant, concerned with trifling matters. When evaluating the house, the inspector looked at the most picayune details, practically checking every nail and splinter. The next word, predilection, an inclination or preference. I have a predilection for Thai food and eat it at least once a week. Promontory, a noun, a high point of land that juts out into water. We had a beautiful view of the whole surrounding bay from the rocky promontory. Okay, so now I will move on to the reading passage. Give me just a moment to find out where it is. And it is entitled, Would You Like It Wrapped? In part as a rebellion against art's consumer orientation, a movement known as Earth Art or Earthworks developed in the 1960s. Earth artists set out to oppose the buying and selling of art by creating outdoor works that were either too big or too evanescent to own. For example, Walter de Maria's lightning field consists of 400 metal rods placed in a grid spanning thousands of square feet in an open field to attract lightning. And Robert Smithson's Spiral Jetty, a spiral dirt path that leads into Utah's Great Salt Lake, has been submerged by natural flooding. Arguably, the most famous earth artist is a man named Christo, born Christo Vladimirov Javashev in Bulgaria in 1935. Before settling in New York, Christo studied at the Art Academy in Bulgaria and the Fine Arts Academy in Austria, and worked in Paris, where he met his wife, Jean Claude. Originally his factotum, Jean Claude, is now his trusted advisor and collaborator on earthworks. Christo is known for his predilection for wrapping large objects. His earlier works involved wrapping banal objects such as road signs, bicycles, and chairs. In the 60s, before he gained widespread popularity, Christo had grandeur visions such as wrapping a school and a couple of landmarks around Paris, but the French government would not permit it. As his public acceptance grew, however, Christo was allowed to wrap buildings in several cities around the world. Over time, some of Christo's works have escalated to such a scale that his earlier projects seemed insignificant in comparison. For example, Christo wrapped several islands off the coast of Miami in bright pink plastic, 1983. Paris's famous Pont Neuf Bridge in gold fabric, 1985, and an entire promontory on the Australian coastline in white fabric, 1987. Because of the grand scale of Christo's earthworks, figuring out how to execute them can be a conundrum for workers. Completing a work often involves hiring a crew to erect his extraordinary pieces, as well as battling courts, environmentalists, and neighboring residents to get permission to carry out his projects. For example, his work Running Fence, a white nylon fence that extended for 24 miles in California, took 13 years of preparation before it was completed in 1976. Christo and his wife had to induce 60 landowners and 15 government bodies to give their permission, attend 17 public hearings, file a 450-page environmental impact report, and deal with objections ranging from the most thoughtful to the most picayune. In addition, the people who lived in the area were quite skeptical. "I've been hanging laundry for 60 years and nobody's ever called me an artist," remarked a bemused resident. The most intransigent opposition came from local artists who claimed the project was a publicity stunt that would give art a bad name. The reviews, however, were laudatory. One critic commented that "running fence is not only a piece of sculpture, but it itself sculpts the land." On February 12, 2005, Christo and Jean-Claude, I guess that's how you pronounce her name, unveiled the gates in New York City's Central Park. In the days before the opening, 600 workers installed 7,500 16-foot-tall gates stretched out along 23 miles of Central Park's walkways. That's so crazy. Over 1 million square feet of saffron-colored fabric was used to create the panels, which moved with the wind. The changing light turned the panels from golden yellow to deep red against the wintry gray background of the park. The gates was designed to be temporary. It stood for only 16 days when the materials were recycled. During that time, millions of visitors had the chance to enjoy this bright ribbon on the dark winter landscape. Christo's work is controversial, but while some are skeptical, many fans and critics believe that his work has panache and provides an aura of mystery and whimsy. Christo himself claims that his art is more than just frivolity. He believes it has social significance. His fanciful and dramatic alterations to environments and landmarks are an effort to encourage people to consider the relationship both to his works and to the immediate environment, thereby urging spectators to be newly cognizant of the meaning of setting. The most grandiose project of all is still only a gleam in Christo's eyes. He would like to erect a series of glass walls temporarily blocking off an all east-west traffic area across the United States. It is unlikely that even Christo will be able to accomplish this feat. And so there you have it. And I hope you enjoyed that. Good night.